It took 3 guys that played rugby to try and slow him down, but he was running in the dark and knew exactly where he was going. He's like literally just completely overwhelmed by what it was. I don't know. A lot of people, when it comes to poltergeist cases, go literally to one of the most famous, which is the Enfield poltergeist.
Okay.
I recognise the name.
Yeah.
Was there a film or something about it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably one of the most well-documented cases with regards to the paranormal. And there was a surrounding family.
I've seen the film. I've seen it's a TV show. It's not a film.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a 3-part. It was like on BBC or something.
There's probably a film
it's
on it.
British,
as well,
isn't
though.
it?
Yeah.
It was in England as well.
England.
So we've got the images up here. Like, so I'll make it's scaring me. I don't know why. So
Yeah, she was being
It was like a
thrown across the room.
a possessed house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it had witnesses there, police were there. There was a witness on the street walking past the house and saw her levitating past the window.
What?
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's just an incredibly intriguing case.
It's always scary people as well, isn't it? Like, I think what I mean by that is like, I don't know. I don't know if it's because like Hollywood's depicted it as that, but like young girls with gaunt faces and dark black
You never see
hair.
David Beckham just floating about, do you?
I wish.
You're so wrong. I think out of all of the paranormal things, ghosts, UFOs, poltergeists and all of this stuff, the thing that scares me personally, although I don't consider myself to be a believer, is just poltergeists and the word of them. Is that common? Is that what most people's fears are?
Absolutely. It can be intense enough to feel like you've got a presence in your home. But when things start moving about and being thrown about, or there was one case, the Battersea poltergeist case as well. There were 2 actually in Battersea, and in one of the cases, a woman was doing the dishes, turns around to a kitchen dining table, and all the chairs are stacked neatly on top of her.
No way.
And she was there the whole time, but had her back to it. How does that happen?
No way.
In your own home, and you know, like things like that. So it's incredible. And that's why I think that's that intimidation where objects move. It's out of your control.
It's like if you went home and all your cupboards were open, you would be a bit like, that's not nice.
If especially after this chat now, if anything's moved in my house when I get home, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I sound evil.
No, yeah, good. What is it? So, Fee's got the bit. What is this? The Battersea one, the Battersea poltergeist.
Yes,
Oh, what?
poltergeist.
And there's drawings on the wall.
Yes. So he would actually, the poltergeist would actually send letters as well. So he'd actually send letters to her. People didn't know who it was coming from, why. It was recently analysed because it was what's her name? Shirley Hitchings was the girl that was dealing with all this growing up, and she was sitting there at work, and she was working in a place where they dealt with dressmaking, and shear scissors would fly across the room, and she lost her job because they thought she was throwing stuff around, but it was, so incredible stuff. But it would actually write letters apparently to her. As well. I know, there's so many question marks. You think postage stamp marks, was there analysing of handwriting, all the stuff that you think, well, hang on, what can explain this? So.
Oh, wow.
Do you believe in possessions then? Because I know with the Enfield haunting, the girl actually got possessed, apparently, and was speaking through this previous owner who died or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly, but do you believe that can happen? Like someone can truly channel a demon or a poltergeist? Or
I think I've witnessed somebody who was taken over by something at one point.
Oh my God.
Yes. So we were in a tuberculosis hospital at the time, but obviously not like working, functioning.
Yeah.
And is run down. We were in a particular area, and it was being filmed. I wasn't there at the time, but I saw him just as he was coming out, and literally coming out as in being more himself. And he was sitting in the hallway, and firstly there was tapping on his shoe. And the camera's there. There's no one. It's all night vision, so you can see exactly what's going on. And this has been like a live feed to where we were sitting. And I'm thinking, what's going on? And he's looking, going, what? Someone's tapping on my shoe. It's like tap, 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 tap. And then he looks up, and then the chair gets pulled out from under him, and then he gets up and he runs, and he's screaming and he runs, but it's not from a place of fear. He was gone. He'd lost wherever he was. He'd gone somewhere else. It took 3 guys that played rugby to try and slow him down, but he was running in the dark and knew exactly where he was going. And so they were trying to find him, found him, crashed him to the ground. He's like literally just completely overwhelmed by what it was. I don't know. They dragged him back out. As soon as he got out, he looked up at me, threw up, which is actually a common thing when people come out of something that's intense energy. Like they say, mediums say that's an energy transference. It's too quick for you to sort of gradually go out. It's almost like, snorkelists, like you've got to kind of gradually come back out to the surface. It's a bit like that, too quick, and it makes people sick. So he looked at me, and I vomited, and oh, thanks. Is it my hair?
I'm just thinking this is a new excuse when I come home from the pub. No, I wasn't drunk, I was possessed.
The devil made me
devil made me chunder.
Perfect. So, and then he came to, and he goes, what happened? Oh, my God, what happened? He's like, whatever happened completely wiped him. It's the only time it's ever happened.
That is mad.
Yeah.
And is that the kind of person that exorcisms are for? Is that who they... Who is the person are the subjects of exorcisms, basically?
Yeah, that's a good question, because he's not a strong believer in religion. So it's because I'd often think people who would be more fearful of being demonically possessed because it falls under that. But then does it stop at demons? What about negative entities? So some people might be actually more susceptible, not from a moral perspective or doing the wrong thing, but more just maybe the kind of people they are.
I'm sorry if I missed it, but so this guy that was like running around possessed, who was he again?
He was part of our team, so he was an investigator.
Oh, he was part of your team.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have misheard that. I thought it was someone you were there to like interview or something.
No.
It was someone in your team.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is I knew I was working alongside this guy for a year and a half already, so I knew, because sometimes people will think, oh, you're possessed. Oh, well, maybe they have a strong mental illness of some sort where it's been undiagnosed.
Yeah.
But often very severe mental illnesses are diagnosed from teenage to early 20s. If there's got to be a diagnosis, it's usually in that time. He was in his 50s. Never, and we spoke to his girlfriend afterwards. She's like, he's not coming out again.
Wow.
Sounds a bit like a hypnosis thing, doesn't it? We had a hypnotist on here, actually, who hypnotized me into forgetting my own name.
Oh, that's a good point. Like that, even though I don't think I believe in much of this paranormal stuff, that hypnotist actually slightly changed my opinion of all of this as well, right? Because before I saw it with my own eyes, I thought bollocks. This, I think bollocks, right? But I've seen it happen now.
Yeah.
I've seen, and people online, on like our audience, and I get it why they would think it. They're skeptical as well, as are we. I saw Stevie get hypnotized, right? We were sat this close, and he made Stevie forget his own name, which is, and I always say this when we relay this story, but Stevie doesn't like to be wrong, right? So he wouldn't have liked to have been seen to be silly in that moment. There is no way, I would bet my life, there was no way you would act that, right?
I almost cried. I hated it.
Yeah, I saw
so uncomfortable.
The tears in your eyes. And the audience, our audience online, and again, I'm not calling them out because I appreciate why they think this, they don't believe it. They think we put it on. There's no way that was put on.
I felt it there, like I knew I could get it, and that's what stressed me out and like made me like go a bit teary, because I was like, I felt like I can't get my own memory. And I felt a bit tipsy, like a little bit drunk.
Wow.
Yeah, and I did as well.
That thing that you've just described with the person, it sounds a bit like he's been taken over mentally by something. And like the guy who came on was a hypnotist called Robert Temple, and I've seen some of the stuff he's posted on his socials of like what he gets people to do at live shows, and it's a bit like, the capability of what a human brain can do is crazy. So it's like, has someone been possessed or has something triggered a moment for them to suddenly go a bit and then be fine afterwards?
This is fascinating. I think I believe in poltergeist now.
My job is done.
Was that moment not terrifying for you? Like, that's got to be a moment where you're going, okay, this is real shit.
It was the one and only time I wanted to get out of a location as quickly as we wanted to go in it.
Wow.
Because it was like, if that's going to happen to one of our people, we need to go out, we need to reconvene and look at why this actually happened.